mean, I wouldn't say it's an interesting beast. I would say YouTube just kind of sucks. Yeah, I know I'm on YouTube saying that YouTube kind of sucks, but come on, it does.
I was trying to be PG because if anything, YouTube has its problems, and
Yeah.
oh
Hey, what's going on?
boy,
How's it
well,
going,
well,
Kenoshi?
I'm pretty good.
That's good.
just,
That's good to hear.
you just in time for the party to start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my melancholy ass Debbie Downer shit to the side, and let's get into some of these news stories. So, speaking of the title, the first part of the title of this thing is bullshit business practices, and it's March 31st, where apparently all copies. Nintendo will stop selling copies,
Ah,
both
boy.
digitally, well, just digitally, really. Of if there's still some place that has a physical copy of this shit, you can get it. But digitally, they will no longer be selling copies of what was it called, the 3D All Stars. And aren't they also going to stop selling the new 3D World 2 today as well?
No, they're still selling that.
Okay, anyway, just the 3D All Stars. So they're no longer selling 3D All Stars by midnight tonight, or whatever their cutoff is. Okay, I mean, personally, I'm gonna the reason they said is, well, we're doing this in order for people will appreciate our games. I call bullshit. I think they're doing it so that they're introducing artificial scarcity to get people with the marketing practice of, oh shit, we're running out, gotta get it now. And
Oh,
plus,
come on, this is an anniversary item.
plus,
You expect the anniversary item to be forever green?
yeah,
Oh,
especially when it's
you!
especially when it's digital. Because I mean,
Yeah, why?
it's not like, oh, we're running. Oh man, we can't print more. We can't make more of a digital code available. Oh shit! I mean that. Really, personally, I think the reason they're doing it is so that they can later on take those games and charge $40 to $50 a pop for them. So basically, turning a $60 purchase into $120 to $150 purchase. That's what I think. I could be wrong. You know, Nintendo could prove me wrong. My supposition could be absolutely false. But considering some of the greedy shit they've been doing over the last 3 years, I doubt it. Let me check my magic 8 ball.
I'm not gonna lie that they're likely gonna sell those three for separate prices, but expecting the anniversary collection to stay available forevermore. You're
Well,
you're as cold as it gets at times.
I will be frank, okay? If the anniversary collection had a lot of bells and whistles to it, like when they did the 25th anniversary of Mario, whatever it was, the one that was on the Wii, that was basically just a reissue of Super Mario All-Stars but came with all this swag. I could understand that. That would be fucking amazing. But literally, you're just getting a package with a cartridge in it. No manual, no goodies, nothing extra they had to print. Just the fucking game. And if you're a real fan, you already got these fucking games in the first place. So, so for them to have the balls, the cojones, the huevos, the alojados. Yeah, in the old Azteca word, the name for avocado didn't mean lawyer. It meant testicle. So the abogados,
Cute.
if they have the abogados to basically sell you a cartridge, a flash cartridge, because that's what Nintendo's cartridges are, for $60 with no bells and whistles. So it's not really an anniversary edition. It's just a game, a collection of 3 games. And there's nothing really special about it. They didn't really add any bells or whistles, like physical shit that makes you say, oh, this is awesome. Like, I mean, I paid $50 for my like standard edition for Cyberpunk 2077, and it came with more shit than what Nintendo had coming out with the 30 like their flagship character 3D game collection, and it came with just the game and like the thing that lets you know like don't try and swallow this cartridge or try to eat it or some shit because you might choke and die. I mean, it just seems a little disingenuous to say that it's like an anniversary collection.
At least not a physical. I mean, at least provide like a physical soundtrack or something.
I mean, even if
$60 rather than just the game.
I mean, even if they didn't have a manual, even if they had like a little art book with those old school Mario drawings from like Super Mario World and you know the ones that people really like. Even if they did that, I'd say okay, that's worth getting. But this shit, I'm sorry, that's just bullshit. That's bullshit to me. I have to. I cannot give them the benefit on the doubt on that. Now you can, and that's your prerogative. But I cannot say. Well, they were just I can't.
They mentioned it in advance, and you still go. That's why.
Look. Listen, they can mention whatever the fuck they want. I'm just telling you that to me it sounds like bullshit. When they mentioned it, I said that sounds like bullshit. And even now, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like some bullshit to me. But that's just me. Like, here's the thing, okay? I can only tell you my take on it. I can't speak for other people. But to me, sounds like bullshit. I know some people will disagree. Some people will say, well, it is to celebrate the anniversary of Mario and blah, blah, blah. And it's to celebrate Mario. But it's like, okay. Oh, all right, whatever. And I'm a Mario fan. I have all those games anyway, including the best 3D Mario game that wasn't included on the 3D All-Star Collection, Mario Galaxy 2. I mean, what the fuck? How do you have the 3D All-Star Collection and you don't include the best 3D Mario game? Yeah. How do you drop that ball? How do you drop that fucking ball? How'd that meeting go in the developers camp? Okay, we're gonna do a Mario 3D All-Star Collection. Okay, what games are we gonna have? Mario Sunshine. Okay, no, Super Mario 64. Okay, gotta have Super Mario 64. Mario Sunshine.
Two's considered expansion, not the full.
You're right.
That was inspirational here.
You know, a lot of people may consider 2 to be an expansion, but on a technical level, 2 is like if the original Mario Galaxy is a solid A, like a good 93, 94, Mario Galaxy 2 is like a 98. It basically all of the flaws that are in Galaxy are cast aside for the clean perfection of Galaxy 2. And a lot of detractors when that game came out were like, well, you know, it feels like an expansion. But not really. Because like I said, it does a lot of shit. Like a lot of the flaws that are in Galaxy 1, completely, they eliminate them.
Okay. So, if anything, you're in that the first big inspirational game of the Wii that moved Mario forward is less important than the sequel. Okay.
No, that's not what I said. I said that Mario Galaxy is good, but it has some minor flaws with it that keep it from being like the best 3D Mario game in my opinion. Some of its pacing is off. The Cosmic Observatory is just a waste of time. It's a like the problem with Mario Galaxy 1 is that like they got like the developers got so up their own ass with the presentation that some of the gameplay suffers. That's the only, but that's a minor flaw because the gameplay is really good, but you have to get through some of their up their own ass presentation to get to the gameplay. Mario Galaxy 2, look. It's like someone went in there and said, "Hey, get your head out of your own ass and focus on gameplay." And they're like, "You know what? That's a good idea." And they did that. And also, some of the motion controls in Galaxy One are just fucking trash. Like the manta ray, where you have to balance perfectly with the Wiimote. That's already not that precise anyway.
That's the only flaw I can see in the game.
That is some fucking bullshit. And like basically all of the things where you basically have to have almost perfect balance with the Wiimote, like when you're on the ball that has the star the star in it, and you got to roll that shit past some shit. That is just, come on, man. That's fucking extraneous. And I know it's the Wiimote. You got to get people to use the Wiimote. But I mean, look, when you play a 3D Mario game or a 2D Mario game, you want to sit down and play the damn game. You don't want to be dealing with a lot of fucking gimmicks trying to get through a level. Okay? And that kind of brings the first Galaxy down a bit, is that there are parts of it that it's like they slave themselves so much to the gimmick that it fucks up the gameplay. Galaxy 2 fixes those issues. You have nothing in Galaxy 2 where they're so slaved to a fucking gimmick that it fucks up the gameplay, which is why like the first Galaxy, like I said, 94, it's a great game. It's not perfect because of those
I was about to say, it explains your Legend of Zelda ideas.
they get so much up their own ass with presentation in Galaxy 1. Like I said, the Cosmic Observatory, a lot of the shit in the Cosmic Observatory is just there because they were like, oh, we want to do something cool and make the presentation feel epic. I know Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is supposed to feel epic, but like they focus so much on presentation in the first game that some of, like, it's like, man, I just want to get into a level and do some shit. No, let me run over here and talk to Illuma and feed him some star bits and do this right here. Okay, I got to go through more dialogue. Man, I just want to jump in a level and jump around and get to these crazy comets, these purple crazy comets. No. I got to listen to more dialogue. Okay. Galaxy 2 is like, oh, you don't want any you just want more 3D Mario and none of the bullshit? Well, here you go. Like, okay, I'll give an example, okay? For adults who have been in real relationships. Galaxy 1 is going on a date.
Impressing me, Red.
Galaxy 1 is going on a date. Going to a nice play or movie. You get home and you turn the lights down low, put on some music, and then y'all get it on. And that's fine. That's great. But sometimes you want Galaxy 2. You want someone to close the door, pull the phone out the wall, close the blinds, and say, we're going to get it on. No bullshit, no frills. Get down to the event. Okay? And that's why I like Galaxy 2 a little bit better.
You're like a kid that wants cake. You're like a kid that wants cake before the dinner.
No, they're both excellent. I just think Galaxy 2 is a little bit better. Galaxy 2, because here's the thing.
I'm saying that I'm saying with you, it's like having a kid that wants the dessert first and then go for the dinner afterwards.
Typically speaking, I don't do that. But here's where my analogy is very apt. If you go with the first analogy, there's a lot of shit that can go wrong. It might go wrong. You might eat some food at a place that you're not really used to eating, and it might make you sick. So then you're in the main event later on that night, and then you got to stop because you're afraid that you might have gas or you might shit on yourself. Or you can watch a comedian who might pick on you in the crowd and fuck up your relation, your pick on you so hard that it fucks up the rest of your night, and then you ain't getting anything. So my point is this: all those little presentation events, there's too much variance of what can go wrong. Whereas if you go with the second one, everybody knows what they're there for. You get right to the main event, no disturbances, no bullshit. Boom. So. Yeah, Mario Galaxy to me is the better gameplay experience. But like I said, they're both like I don't put them on the same level. Like I said, the original Mario Galaxy 94, Galaxy 2 is like a 97, 98. neither of them are perfect, in my opinion. They're not like, oh my god, this game is unimpeachable. But they are, like, they're both really good games. Nintendo really made a couple of really, arguably, in my opinion, two of the best 3D Mario games of all time. It's just, like if it was just the best 3D Mario game and you just said, okay, what is the best 3D Mario game? And you did include Galaxy 2, and it was like Galaxy 1 against other 3D platformers, I would say Galaxy 1 winner every time. Excuse me, winner every time. But if you compare Galaxy 1 to Galaxy 2, Galaxy 2 fixes a lot of the issues that Galaxy 1 has. So it's just slightly better. It's just slightly better. It's very slight. It's like the difference between a 94 and a 97. I mean, like, if you bring a 94 home versus a 97, no one's going to be like, oh shit, you could have done better. They'll be like, oh, you got an A. Okay, cool. Like, that's basically how I feel about it. They're both A games. They're both, you know, they both don't suffer from a fucking flaw that Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey suffers from, which is just as much as you're fighting Goombas, Koopas, Koopa Troopas, Lakitus, and other enemies, Bowser, the greatest enemy you'll face in those games is that goddamn camera.
Isn't that always the thing with 3D Mario games?
Because
the
you
camera
didn't.
Is
You
the
didn't.
biggest foe of your game?
You didn't have that in, or not to the same extent in Galaxy 1 and 2, or 3D World. It was only in Sunshine, 64, Odyssey, where the camera can get you. Like, you'll lose lives in those games from the camera, not because you got hit by an enemy, just from the fucking camera. And when the camera's killing you, that is a shitty camera. Now, you kind of have an excuse with Mario 64. You have no excuse once you get to, like, Odyssey for the camera to be killing you. That's just, like, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It's odd because the camera didn't even try to slay me.
Okay.
And this is from somebody that has the game, by the way.
I have the game too. 100%ed it. But let me put it this way. To me, fuck fighting those tough bosses. Fuck those one-hit runs, those boss battles where you only have one hit and you die. The greatest enemy in Mario Odyssey was that goddamn camera.
Perfect run.
No, it was the camera. Because basically there's certain moons that you want to find in certain levels where it's like you would have, like, okay, if you're a Mario veteran and you know about wall jumping and secrets and shit like that, like, hey, I can probably get up there. But if you're someone who has not, like, been playing 3D and 2D Mario games for years, you're going to be like, okay, I have no clue that shit was up there. The only reason I know is because I've been playing Mario games for years.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's those things that even if you are a pro at Mario, you're going to have a little bit of a tough time because some of those things are very precise.
Like I said, for me,
near pinpoint accurate.
Like I said, for me, I did not have an issue with Mario Odyssey with the bosses. I didn't have an issue with the platforming. The thing that I was like, this is not what it should be. That fucking camera. To me, that was the major thing that brought that game down, was that goddamn camera. And also the fact that once you beat the game, and you know, get all the moons and everything, it's just like the power moons. It's like it's really not much else to do in this game. I mean, there's no expansion content. There's no extra shit you can do. There's like the few extra outfits they added, but it was like you can just buy those because once you get all the moons and go through all the worlds, you have so much currency that you can buy whatever the fuck you want anyway. I mean, it would be cool if the outfits gave you different abilities or something, but no, just different costume.
Well, I was going to say some of those costumes are required for certain missions, but that's so few.
What?
I was saying that for certain moons that you have to go for, they do require you to get certain attire. but that's
Yeah,
so few.
yeah, but I mean that's like a minor thing, and they tell you it's like, oh, you can't come in here unless you're wearing this. But even then, those outfits they might look cool, but they don't give you any special abilities, or they give you no real incentive to uh, to change outfits really, except for aesthetic reasons and some moons where it's like because I think there's one in the desert where you can't get in unless you're wearing a sombrero and the poncho and shit, and it's like okay, whatever, whatever. It's like shit like that. It's like okay,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That some attires you really can't get unless you change up your attire. But I mean, there's some moves you can't get unless you change your
yeah,
attire. But
but
those are
not
so
really.
few that
Yeah,
it doesn't. I say it's so few that they basically should be moons in a sense.
I mean, it's not like other Mario games where you have power ups where there's certain exits you can't get to unless you have a certain power up to get to it. Like there's an entire in Super Mario World on the SNES, there is an entire there's an entire shortcut you can take in one of the fortresses in the first third of the
I was
game.
gonna say World Castle. I mean, Mini Castle number one, right? Where you need a suit to help you fly in order to get a whistle.
No, it's Super Mario World, not not Super Mario Brothers.
That's
Uh,
Mario 3, right?
no, it's Super Mario World on the SNES.
Oh, I get you.
But
And I remember now. It's Star
there's a
Levels, right?
it's a fortress. But anyway, you have to you go to this fortress, and there is like there's this part where you can go into the boss door, or you can get a running start and parachute jump your ass past all these fireballs to get to the end where you get like three triple one up moons and another doorway that'll take you to a completely different place. Now that's what I call okay. You had to utilize a power up in order to do like go to another exit, do something completely cool. There's none of that shit in this game. Of course, the power ups in this game instead of having power ups traditionally in Odyssey, you have possession with Mario taking over hats. And really, I mean, even the power ups that should be cool, like, hey man, I can take over this gliding lizard. That's cool. They don't do a lot with the gliding lizard. They do some cool shit with the tank. I'll give you that much. Assaulting uh, New Donk City is pretty cool.
Fighting New York, fighting in New York City as a tank against a boss.
Yeah,
That's pretty neat.
that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, you can only do that once conventionally. I mean, yeah, you can do it again with a no-hit run, but still, it's just challenge. But it's like I said, Odyssey is a lot of really good ideas, very disconnected from point A to point B. Which
I think it was a lot of the new developers that were making that game.
yeah, whereas the presentation is great, but the connection between the ideas is just doesn't really come together. I'm pretty sure if they take that engine and really but focus down on what they need to do, they might be able to do like a Galaxy 2 to Odyssey's Galaxy 1, but I don't do they have the balls to pull it off or the creativity really? I don't know. But I mean, to be fair, Nintendo developers, even when they're half-assing it, are typically much better than a lot of other developers. So, um, you know, except for Wii Music. Fuck Wii Music.
I'm gonna say that's what they better stick to games instead of trying to be a band.
Now, Wii Music can go. Wii Music can go fuck itself. But anyway, let's keep it moving. So I mean, so basically, I'm against Nintendo's Mario Anniversary practices. Jewel is for. Kanoshi, you're the last one before we move on to the
I'm
next one.
against. Yeah, I'm against it. I think.
I figured.
Honestly, I agree. I agree with you. I think it's just, a way for them to possibly sell it again later, or maybe it's just a way to, sneak or promote there. Because the N64 emulator, or whatever they're calling it now, hasn't come out yet. So
N64 Mini?
Not the N64 Mini, the virtual
N64 Virtual Console?
Yeah,
Well, they don't even have a virtual console anymore. They have a online library. I mean, like, the thing is this: Nintendo's online library for their NES and SNES games is kind of lackluster. So, um, I mean, unless they like really do pull a coup and do something amazing for a N64 online library, I'm not holding out much hope if their N64 library is anything like their NES and SNES online library. Because the NES library has been lackluster.
They got when it was the 64.
I mean, the N64 library on the Wii was great. I mean, it initially wasn't great, but over time they had some really good games on there.
I mean, when the N64 was first around.
Well, that's the thing. It's a smaller library, and a lot of the really great games for that system are from companies that are defunct or, who cares? Like Extreme G2. That's a great game. Mario, that's a great game.
We're never going to get those great. I was going to say, we're never going to get those really great games, right?
F-Zero, that's a great game.
Because of who owns what?
Well, I think Extreme. Who owns the rights to Acclaim? Because Extreme G was an Acclaim game.
I was going to say, remember Rare?
Yeah. We could get Diddy Kong Racing because they already re-released Diddy Kong Racing on the N64. They just took out Banjo and Conquer.
Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, Kazooie wasn't in Conker's Bad Diddy Kong Racing.
I'm talking about the game series, not the...
I mean, look, let me put it this way. Even though I love... even though I would say that Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie are better 3D games than Mario 64.
You probably would want Conker.
I mean, I'm going to keep it real. Everything that Rare put out during the 5th gen was fucking amazing. Like, even their lesser stuff was fucking amazing. Like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong Country 64, Jet Force Gemini, Diddy Kong. Did I say Diddy Kong Racing?
That was one of the first I mentioned. I mean, that was one of the first mentioned, yeah.
So, Blast Corps, all those games are great. Like, Rare was fucking untouchable. And I love them.
More like on fire, but...
No, the 5th gen, they were untouchable because everything Nintendo did, they upped the ante. Like, I know everyone's like, I love Mario Kart 64. Man, Mario Kart 64 can go suck a dick. Diddy Kong Racing was a better game. Okay? Because Diddy Kong Racing not only had a great multiplayer, which almost all the kart racing games on the N64, except for South Park Racing, which sucked, but every other kart racing game had a great multiplayer. But Diddy Kong Racing also had a great single player, which Mario Kart 64 did not have a great single player. It had shit for single player.
I was about to say, wouldn't that be
They were
Zero?
pumping out South Park games like it was going out of style.
Well, not really. They had like 3 on the N64, and all of them were shit. There was the one where you're like, it's a first-person shooter, but you're throwing snowballs at turkeys. And then there was the one that was a kart racing game, but it was a shitty kart racing game. Which is, like, here's the thing. The N64 had tons of really great kart racing games. And you're going to put out some name brand shit that's a bad kart racing game. When you have all of this great shit like Snowboard Kids, Beetle Adventure Racing, Lego Racing, Lego Island Racing, Diddy Kong Racing, Mario Kart 64, like all these great racing games. Cruising USA, Cruising Exotica, at Sight, I think it's at Sight Truck. I forget the name of it, but I mean, there's all these great racing games, and you're gonna put out some shit. And then there was that trivia game that was for the N64 for South Park. So, yeah.
I was going to make the joke of the Love Shack.
Yeah, that's what it was
game.
called. It was called the Love Shack, and it was terrible.
Oh God.
We didn't get a good South Park game until South Park and the Stick of Truth. That was the first time we got a good South Park game.
I just remember walking into the video store and seeing various different South Park games.
Yeah, they were bad. They were bad. But most like the exception, like occasionally you would get a licensed game that was good. See, now you're getting licensed games. Some of them are actually pretty good. But back in the day, it was the opposite. Like licensed games, by and large, were terrible. Like we didn't start getting good licensed games until the 6th gen, really. Occasionally, you'll get good ones during the 3rd gen and 4th gen.
Which is kind of surprising when you think about it.
Not really.
It took about 5 generations before we finally got shovelware that doesn't. I mean, licensed games that don't suck as hard.
Well, people figured out that if you took an established formula that worked and did that formula well, and then just put that character into that, it could work. Like the Spider-Man games are licensed games, but they're fucking awesome. Like Spider-Man 2 is one of the best open world Spider-Man games ever. It's so good that Sony literally paid Insomniac to copy that formula into the new Spider-Man game. Everyone's like, this is amazing. Yeah, it is pretty good. Too bad I was playing this shit in 1990 something when the GameCube came out. I mean 2000 something when the GameCube came out with Spider-Man 2. You didn't do anything new with this shit. Just the combat is better. And that's it. You know, I mean, but really, like once you have a good formula with Spider-Man, don't mess it up. You know, that's where people mess up all the time. They're always trying, well, we can make it better. No, you can't. You're not going to make this better. You know, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I think we all would agree that if they did a Nintendo N64 Mini, it would probably sell better than the PlayStation Classic, that shitty PlayStation Classic.
Yeah.
that slapdashed, half-assed, thrown together bullshit that Sony put out. Like, why would you even do that? That was so stupid. Anyway, moving on. So the next little bit of news is some good business decisions. Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red confirms that they are really thinking about dropping their multiplayer for Cyberpunk 2077, which is a smart move, I think. You guys have any thoughts on it?
Hi guys,
What was the question?
That they're dropping multiplayer for single player.
On Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, they dropped multiplayer for single player.
They're giving some real thought to it, which I mean, really, they should just do it because really they shouldn't be taking resources from fixing that game to trying to make a fucking multiplayer for it.
Even with the 40 gig fix, I'm sure they have a ways to go to completely fix that game.
There was no 40 gig fix for that game.
For Cyberpunk?
No, it wasn't a 40 gig fix for the game.
Oh, I heard the new patch that was in it, was like around 40 gigs.
I mean, I can go look it up because I have it on GOG. Let me check.
There,
I could be wrong.
Because there was like a patch notes that were a day and a half long.
I mean, it fixes a lot of the issues, but I don't think it's 40 gigs. Here, let me check. Size of 1.2 patch for Cyberpunk. That's 24.7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe 40 if you haven't upgraded it now. On the Xbox is 40 gigs, but I mean, come on, man. You know why it's 40 gigs on the Xbox, right?
Why is that?
Because they have to have different textures for different models. You know, if you have the Xbox Series S, Xbox X Series S, the streaming one, like it's got lower textures, but it's like the patch isn't smart. It has to have the textures for everything. Like it's not I can only download the textures for what I'm playing. So it's got to download all that shit. If you're on Steam, I'm pretty sure they have probably a smarter patching process for their infrastructure. But I could be wrong. I mean, what the hell do I know? I don't make games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do RPG Maker, but that's a different kettle of fish. Yeah. Or at least it used to be. RPG Maker, when it was like 2000, 2003, was so much easier to use. RPG Maker now, where you have to know Ruby script in order to use it, sucks. I mean, I can do it. I've made games using Ruby script, but it's just not.
It's not enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not as enjoyable. Plus, it's much harder to go in and pirate your games.
Edit things.
Yeah, edit your games. It's really hard to edit games that you buy. It's like I want to go in here and make this character a dual wielding badass. Can't do that shit now. It's like, come on, man. I want to change how this character, the stats of this character as they level up, so that they can actually be more competitive against bosses. They're the hero. They should be able to kick a boss's ass. Nah, can't do that. So, Ruby script is way harder.
Their leveling curve is real.
One of my favorite things to do back in the day is I would, when I was playing RPG Maker games, if I found it way too difficult, I would make mutants spawn in the. Now I would make low-level enemies spawn that would drop tons of gold and rare items. I would open it up in RPG Maker.
Give out the special gem. You basically get those rare drops every second.
Yeah,
so you cannot be underleveled.
Well, at the time, I was like, "Man, this is terrible." But actually, that's how hackers work. They take a tool set and they go into the code and they change it. So yeah, I was hacking way before I knew what the fuck it was. But I wasn't using my powers for evil. I was using it to make my games easier. God damn it! But yeah, so I mean, it's like I'm not against that. I'm just saying that it just kind of falls apart a little bit sometimes. Anyway,
yeah, coding is just super tedious. It's why I never fully wanted to get in. It's not because it was hard. It's just not the sort of.
It's tedious.
Difficulty. Yeah, it's not the sort of difficulty I'm interested in when it comes to computers.
And it depends on who's teaching it, because I was taking a coding course and I got like a. Let's see, what did I get? I got like a low B, and it was some of the most tedious hard shit ever Then I went back and I took a coder's course that was so much easier to get into. And I'm like, it depends on how it's taught, because like some of it is just not very good.
Yeah.
Oh man, 13 is free on GOG for those of you. It's the original version, so it's the good version of 13. So, and it's free
What's
on
that game
GOG.
about?
13 is based on a comic book, and it's about this guy who is a secret agent assassin, and he's simply called by his code number, which is 13. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It was ported to the GameCube and the PlayStation 2, but I always had the GameCube version because yeah, and I just got it. Free, free, free. Can't beat that free 99.
That was... So is it an RPG? Is it one of those?
It's a first-person shooter, except the art
Oh, okay.
style is really, really, really nice. It's cell shaded, so it looks like you're playing in a comic.
Oh, okay.
And no, we're not talking about Comic Zone.
No, Comic Zone is a terrible game. It's a piece of shit. I don't know.
Just why I should say that.
It's terrible. Like Comic Zone is unnecessary for a beat 'em up. It's really hard. The platforming is imprecise. There's tons of special moves that you basically can use that the manual doesn't tell you about. There's shit in the game that you need in order to beat it that the manual doesn't tell you about. That is one of the most poorly designed pieces of shit I've ever played.
What?
Anyway, the plot of 13 is the President of the United States of America has been assassinated, and you're the world's prime suspect. The FBI, the CIA, and a gang of murderous killers are trying to hunt you down. Stricken with amnesia, you remember nothing, not even who you are. You're on your own, and there's no one you can trust. All you have is a safe deposit key, a mysterious tattoo, and a gun. Clear your name, solve the mystery, and catch the true assassin before he strikes again. Exciting espionage story and fast-paced action. Top-notch voice acting performed by actors such as David Duchovny and Adam West. Cell-shaded graphics, comic book-like narration brings the experience of the acclaimed comic book to your life on your computer. Now, I also have this game on PC. I mean, on Steam. But 13 is so good that,
Mm-hmm.
So what was so bad about Comic Zone?
it's just a very poorly designed game.
Oh,
And really
I was
hard.
gonna say that it's not. It's not. It's not a. It's not that hard of a game, but the design it makes you question how they made it.
Yeah, it is that hard of a game. Like, I'll tell you what I mean by when it's hard, okay? The first level of Comic Zone, relatively easy. The second level, once you start getting real enemies, once you have to, like, fight, like, enemy...
Use
like
combos and stuff.
You have to use combos and shit. And here's the thing. You get... Like, the manual doesn't tell you how to do any of this shit. There's parts of the level, like in the second level, where you have to go into lower panels. Because in Comic Zone, the whole point of the game is that you're this comic book artist who's been drawn into your comic, and you have to fight the villain from your comic and keep him from escaping, or he'll take over the world. The real world, not the comic world. And literally, if you fail in the game to do certain things, the game you get a game over, and your character is stuck in the comic book, and the villain escapes and takes over the world. So, but I mean, you add that with shitty controls, unexplained concepts that they don't tell you about. A life system where it's like you get like 3 or 4 lives, and then once you lose all your lives, it's not game over and you can continue from where you were. The whole game starts all over again. So it's so shitty controls, terrible life system, unexplained vague concepts that aren't in the manual that you need in order to beat the game. It's not a very well made game.
Oh.
Yeah, not very well made at all.
I say that that the controls are not that difficult. It's how they work together with the game that makes it real hard. And oh boy,
Well, I mean,
I'll agree with you there.
the times I played the game, I was playing it on a 3 button controller, so that could have been my issue. But
Yeah, I'm I'm one of those 3 button players myself.
I always found that like for that game, playing it on the 3 button controller was just it was like punching yourself in the nuts while playing that game. So I kind of for me, I can't I can't. I like, and I'm saying this as someone who's kind of a beat 'em up aficionado. Like I've played a lot of beat 'em ups, but Comic Zone is, in my opinion, not a good one. Like because like beat 'em ups are just a very difficult. Like it's really hard to fuck up a beat 'em up, but when you do, you know it. You know.
Yeah, I said that the controls for me were kind of well, was kind of good, and this is from playing 3 buttons. But when you put it together with with the with how the game plays out, then you could at least say that yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah. Anyway, my favorite 2D beat 'em up. Well, my favorite 16-bit beat 'em up, aside from like Final Fight or Super Double Dragon or um, Streets of Rage, is actually Batman Returns for the SNES. That game is really fun. Like, if you ever wanted to play Batman just beating the holy shit out of everybody, that's for you. Because that's all that goes on in that game. It's just Batman beating the ever loving shit out of everybody. I mean everybody, and he has a wide array of moves. Like you can grab 2 dudes at the same time and smash them into each other. If you're near a wall, you can press up. You can grab a dude, press up and Y, and throw the dude into a wall. If there's glass, if there's a plate glass window behind you when you do that, the dude will smash into the plate glass window. I mean, it's great. Now that's a beat 'em up.
Yeah.
I need excruciating violence, okay, in my beat 'em ups. I need like it needs to feel visceral.
You need to have fun sending villains right through each other and out the window.
Yeah.
Probably in that order.
So that's what I need. I need excruciating violence. And but I mean, this was back in the day. This was Konami. This was the same Konami that made shit like Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist. Good Konami, not the shit we got now.
Not the not the car. Yeah, with erotic violence.
Not shit Nami. It's Konami, but shit. So shit Nami.
It's full of shit. Yeah.
But anyway, let's keep it moving. We got another story. I recently bought Evil Genius 2. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's pretty good. For those of you who don't know, this is a long wanted sequel for Evil Genius. Now, for those of you who don't know, Evil Genius is a game where you basically, if you ever watch a James Bond film and you said, I want to be Blofeld or Goldfinger or Ivan Drax.
I would say are those are the kind of villains that make you wonder, I could have done better than you.
Or Mr. Big.
Yeah. If you ever feel like you could do 20 times better than those Bond villains, because of how bad that they let James Bond escape.
Well,
This is your game, I think.
I think Goldfinger came the closest to really getting rid of James Bond. Like he really tried. Like he had his ass tied up with that laser. He's like, I've got you now, Mr. Bond. You expect me to talk, Goldfinger? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. You know. But anyway, if you ever played one of those, if you ever watched one of those James Bond films and you said, man, I really identify with the villain, then Evil Genius is for you. Basically, an Evil Genius, like the first Evil Genius, except with better graphics and shit. You play an evil genius. You can basically create your own archetype of an evil genius, evil villain genius, and you build a lair. You send your henchmen out on schemes and shit. And at first, you'll have like little detectives and private police come and try and get you. But once your notoriety goes up, you'll start getting like James Bond and
Get
shit.
ready for superheroes.
Yeah, well, initially it's like people like James Bond and shit coming after you. Now, if that shit goes down, if you don't have some type of front to dissuade him, like one of the best fronts you can get in Evil Genius 2 is a casino, where you can get a super spy to come in and they're gonna fuck your shit up. But if you have a casino, you can get them to lose all their money, so they pay you. They lose their money and then they can't do shit. It's like, man, I'm gonna use your money to buy more henchmen that I can then use to do more schemes. The progression once you get into like the mid tier is kind of tough, but I'm enjoying it. Like, if you ever was like, yeah, man, I really want to be Blofeld or Ivan Drax, this is for you.
I'm trying not to laugh because I can already imagine you enjoying this game a lot more than most people.
Well, I'm a misanthrope, so I don't really like people in the first place. And then you give me a game where I get to be an evil villain. This is right up my alley. So, yeah. I know some people will disagree. Oh, how dare you. But, like I said, I am a misanthrope, and I like shit like this.
As I said, this is the kind of game is for you.
Yeah. So are there any sequels to old games that you guys are like, man, if they made a sequel to this, I'd totally buy that shit?
I'd probably go for something like either Mischief Makers or Conquer 2.
I'd love a Conquer 2.
As a real sequel, not the Xbox refresh.
I would love another Conquer 2, except the first Conquer took place over a day. I think it would be cool to have the sequel take place over like a year.
Wait. All that for Conquer was a single day.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Conquer's Bad Fur Day. Because basically, like,
I'm surprised that he didn't drop dead from all the chaos he went through.
No,
he went through a nighttime village, a war movie.
Yeah.
Of a barn that got blown up, likely.
Yeah. Well, everything takes place.
And ended up in space.
Yeah, everything takes place over one day. Because basically, the night before, his girlfriend wants him to come home so they can do whatever. And he is out drinking with his friends. He gets incredibly fucking drunk and never makes it home. That's the beginning of the game. So basically, the beginning of the game is him waking up the next day hungover. And so, like, he goes from being hungover to realizing that he spent all his money getting drunk and he can't come home without money. During this time, his girlfriend winds up leaving him. He winds up, like I said,
she got jacked.
Almost getting blown up in a barn. trying to earn money, almost getting eaten by a fucking giant dogfish, while also almost getting burnt up by a giant boiler. Going to the world of the humans, almost getting eaten in a dinosaur gladiatorial competition by Big Bone, who, despite his name, does not have a big bone, apparently.
At least where it counts.
Yeah, he has a big club, but that's the only big thing about him. Let me put it that way. And let's see, what else? He winds up going to his old ancestral home where his people came from, where he's attacked by a vampire. Then he's recruited into the army to fight a war with the Teddies, which which he actually wins, single-handedly wins. So he's called before the king to get a medal. The king, who the entire time has been impregnated with an evil artificial life form created by the king's head scientist, that proceeds to murder the king and murder Conker's girlfriend, who the entire time Conker snuck into the castle in order to steal from the king's vault as well on a heist. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit, but all that shit happened over a day. He defeats the evil scientist and his artificial life form that's just the alien monster, and then he becomes king all in one day. It ends with Conker being on the throne with his glass of milk, surrounded by his friends, like just these random people that he helped during the game. That box, that friggin' pitchfork. Just a lot of random shit. But yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I would love a sequel, except instead of taking place over a day, it should take place over a week or a month. Hell, I'd even take a year. Give it some replayability.
Or give it the Ocarina of Time treatment and have you repeat certain points of time.
Nah. After doing that in Ocarina of Time, I never want to do that shit again. So, Kenoshi, are there any other games that you would like to see get a sequel? Or you're like, man, I love that game. It really needs a sequel.
I wonder what they could do with, and this is going to be a random game, but I don't know what they could do with Tomba and recent. Because I remember playing that game a lot as a kid. I think I went back to it a couple of years ago, and it's hard to play because that voice acting is terrible now. Like as a kid, you didn't mind it, you could put up with it, but man, is it awful. But
yeah,
I enjoyed the first two games, at least the second game.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Tomba's marketing was great, and then I went to a friend's house and played the game, and I was like, I'm not impressed. But I can understand where people would be like, they would like to see a sequel done that would fix that. I got a game that definitely I would love to see a sequel. I don't know if it would happen, but I would love to see a sequel. There's a game that came out in the 6th gen called True Crime Streets of LA. They made a sequel called True Crime New York, but it was rushed, it was buggy, it was glitchy, and it didn't sell nearly as well as the first game. And then Activision was working on a True Crime Hong Kong. They got cold feet, sold the code to Square Enix, and they made Sleeping Dogs with the code. So Sleeping Dogs was supposed to be True Crime Hong Kong. I don't really like Sleeping Dogs all that much. It takes itself way too goddamn seriously. Whereas, True Crime LA, there were parts of it that were serious, but it also had some tongue-in-cheek humor. It was basically like Beverly Hills Cop, except the main character wasn't, a black Detroit detective. It was Asian American detective who was irreverent and talked a lot of shit. It basically was a martial arts Beverly Hills Cop the video game. So I would say do True Crime LA 2. Do True Crime LA 2 so we can finally, because at the end of True Crime, they tell you if you ever want to hear the story about how Nick was first suspended in the first place, stay tuned to the next game. So I'm sitting here like, why was Nick suspended in the first place? What happened? I need to know. Nick Kang, what happened to you? The guy who's the voice actor for Nick Kang is still alive. Christopher Walken is still alive. So we can get some of the main people back together to do its True Crime too. So why not? Why not? Look, Christopher Walken ain't getting any younger. The guy who does the voice for Josh Wong, who does the voice for Nick Kang, he's still alive. So come on, just
give us the finish that we deserve. Don't leave us blue.
Yeah, don't leave me hanging. Just don't leave me hanging.
Red Fox blue ball here.
Don't leave me hanging. It's like when someone, like you say, give me high five, and they just leave you hanging. Come on, man. Like, come on. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah.
Don't leave me just sitting there. Just, man, come on, baby. So, yeah, I would love to do that. So,
Oh, one thing we forgot to talk about was the whole Crash 4 fiasco with the.
oh, you mean the DRM?
Yeah.
A DRM for a single player game?
Yeah, and they cracked it within the weekend, supposedly.
Here's my question. Why the fuck do you need DRM for a single player game that has no fucking multiplayer? And first of all, it has no multiplayer. And second of all, who the fuck is pirating Crash Bandicoot? Like, is there anyone who really wants to? Is there anyone's like, man, I really want Crash Bandicoot, but I don't want to play $49.99, or is it $39? Hey, let me look up the price of Crash Bandicoot 4. I'm gonna go on Amazon. Crash Bandicoot 4. I'm looking up the price. It's $39.99. Apparently, it's $64.99 on the PS4, but sorry, it's $70 on the PS4. Well, that's a good reason to pirate a game. Like, how the fuck is that game $70 on the PS4? I mean, Jesus. God damn.
It's $74 in the PS4. Why?
It's $70 on the PS4. It's $69.45 plus tax. $74. It's $64. That's for like, it's cheaper. Like, there's a cheaper thing on here for $64, but typically the price has been cut a little bit because normally it's like $71.99.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, on the Switch it's $39.99, which is still too much for a Crash Bandicoot game, but that's way cheaper than.
It's a lot more affordable than what was
$70. Yeah, $70. Yeah, you have got to be out of your goddamn mind if you think I would spend $70 on a Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah. I could see where scalpers are, but come on, who the beep is paying that much for a platformer that loves to kick you in the balls?
I mean, that is just ridiculous. That is, I wouldn't give my mama $70 for a Crash Bandicoot game. I'd be like, Mama, you gonna get your ass whooped for buying that shit. Don't buy that shit. don't don't spend your money on that bullshit.
Wow.
So I mean, look, Activision, you guys are out of your goddamn minds. You are out of your minds. They are insane. Anyway, that's my
Uh, Speaking of, I just find it funny. I wonder if a lot of the Nintendo fans were crying yesterday yesterday because the Kingdom Hearts games came to PC before they came to Switch.
yeah. I don't know if they're crying, but
For
I
me,
know.
I just already said it. I was gonna say that I already spoke my mind about it, and I'm getting on Square Enix case for so much teasing.
Yeah, but
But
they
then I
aren't
get on
teasing.
the as in the as in if they're getting people's hopes up, the ones that they even cry for it,
Yeah,
I
but
just have to say enough already.
yeah, but they aren't teasing. Square Enix hasn't said shit about putting any of their games on putting any of their Kingdom Hearts games on a Nintendo platform. Never, not once. Now, what they have done is put their fucking sloppy seconds on Nintendo handhelds and consoles. But I mean, if you as a Nintendo gamer, if you're happy with getting getting the leftovers from other consoles, you know, good for you. I personally think too highly of myself to be okay with accepting the seconds from other consoles on my system. Not because, oh, you know, this was a good idea to put this game on the system, but because they only think you're good enough to get their bullshit leftovers. I mean, I personally get offended when developers and publishers do that. So I don't feel comfortable or right accepting it. But you know, if you're a Nintendo gamer and you think it's okay for someone to be enticed by just some half-ass bullshit, and knock yourself out. I mean, like I said, I personally, I don't think Square Enix led anyone on. Okay, it's like basically the gamers who think, in my opinion, the gamers who think that Square Enix was leading them on, they are like a woman going with a married man and actually believing him when he says he's going to leave his wife. That motherfucker ain't leaving his wife. Okay, he's just saying this so that you'll go with him. Okay. If you're a Nintendo gamer and you listen to these people say, well, we could put our games on a Nintendo platform, they ain't doing it. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already accepted that,
Okay? When they
and
didn't
just
put.
had to grow. And I had to look at them like, really, you keep on making all these, and we're getting seconds. Why don't you just stop giving us the sloppy seconds already? At least that's my thought.
I mean, I'm going to put it right now. And let's keep it 100% real, okay? If you go, um, you know, if Square Enix was serious about porting Kingdom Hearts to a Nintendo platform, the best time to do it would have been on the Wii, where the Wii was selling gangbusters. They could have ported all three Kingdom Hearts games to the Wii because they were on. I mean, at least the two Kingdom Hearts games that were on the PS2. They could have ported those games over to the Wii, and they would have been in great shape to do so. Square Enix didn't do that. So if you have like what is arguably the highest selling Nintendo console of all time at that point, which was the Wii, and you're not going to put your games on that system, even though it's selling gangbusters. I mean, like they aren't serious. They don't give a fuck about making money. So, I mean, At this point, hearing Nintendo fans whine about it, oh, they won't put their games. They never gave a fuck about you. Why are you? You're like that woman going with a married man. Oh, well, he's gonna leave his wife for me. No, he ain't.
Uh-huh. He
Look,
he don't want no pigeon.
he might say it. He might say it because he want to get some, but he ain't gonna leave his wife. He ain't gonna leave his wife for you. It's like August Alsina, where he was like, "Yeah, I want Jada to go with me." Like she gonna leave her husband for you. She ain't leaving that fucking mansion and all that fucking money. Shit. Look, you were just somebody. She hit it. She had fun. You rocked the world, but she ain't gonna look. Look, your dumb ass caught feelings because you a bitch. You got whipped, son. She put that thing on you and you couldn't handle it.
Oh
yeah.
Look, my father.
Speaking from experience, son? Or speaking from experience?
No. My father was a very my father is a piece of shit human being, but he gave me some advice. He said, "Son, don't you ever let yourself get whipped." Okay? Says, you're a man, you know, it's great, but don't let yourself get whipped. And I didn't know what he meant. But then I saw that shit with August Alsina and Jada Pinkett. I was like, yeah, he got whipped. She put that thing on him. He just couldn't handle it. He just, I can't handle it. Look, listen, okay. I would not go with a married woman because there's too much of a chance of her husband finding out and you getting shot. And I ain't taking a bullet for nobody. I don't care how good the thing is. I ain't getting shot over it. Okay.
The more dangerous thing would be the ex that wants to get your head.
But he got whipped. Okay. He got straight up whipped.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't get people who play that game who sleep with married women or sleep with married men. The wife might be crazy.
Well,
she might shoot.
I can't speak for. I cannot speak for.
Every man.
No, I can't speak for women because I don't know the motivations of women. But I can tell you right now, as someone who has friends who like to go with married women, you want to know why single men go with married women? Because single men and married women are in the relationship typically for one thing. And once that one thing is done, they call it a day. Everybody knows their place. Everybody knows where they have to go. The problem is that, a lot of women who go with married men, they're like Nintendo gamers with Square Enix. It's like this bitch actually thinks that this man gonna leave his wife and go with her. Nintendo fans are like, these motherfuckers actually think that Square Enix is gonna put they mainline games on the Nintendo console. Are you out your goddamn mind? Are you insane? No. Now, occasionally you'll find a married man who will leave his wife for the other woman. Occasionally, rarely. Most of the time, a married man is not gonna leave his wife for the other woman. He's not. Want to know why? Because to a married man, that outside woman is just a piece of variety. Okay? His wife is like the steak at home. And steak is great. But every once in a while, you want a juicy cheeseburger. Okay? Steak is great. You love steak. But every once in a while, you want a juicy steak, a juicy hamburger. And instead of going to his wife and saying, hey, take that steak and grind it up, make it to a cheeseburger, I can eat that at home. Nah, he wants to go out to the drive-thru and get a cheap piece of cheeseburger. And that's he wants that variety, and that's on him because, if you're a real man and you have open communication with your wife, she can be as freaky as you want her to be. Shit. Look, if you have open communication with your wife, you might find out your wife is even freakier than you are. You just didn't ask. But anyway.
Your mileage may vary.
But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so Nintendo gamers sitting there, oh my god, I can't. They're gonna put their game. This shit ain't happening. Quit whining and move the fuck on. If you want to play Kingdom Hearts, go fucking buy a PC or a PS4 or a PS5 or an Xbox and play the shit over there, because it ain't coming to Nintendo. Shut the fuck up and quit whining about it. Oh, it's not gonna happen. Crying and whining
about it for years.
At this point, I'm not even mad at Square Enix. I'm mad at the people still whining about it. I'm like a parent when they hear the kids screaming and crying in the back, and the parents don't care about justice. They just want quiet. I just reach back there and slap these people. It's like, I want Kingdom Hearts. Shut the fuck up. If you want to play Kingdom Hearts, get it on what it's fucking on. Shut up. That's how I feel at this point. Let me put it this way. Okay, there's some games where it makes sense for people to say, why isn't this on a Nintendo platform? Why isn't this on a Nintendo platform? If Square Enix came out with Octopath Traveler and it came to PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One before it came to the Switch, I would be like, why isn't this on a Nintendo console? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, the type of RPG it is, old school RPG fans would love that. And a lot of old school RPG fans are on the Nintendo console. Makes sense. Kingdom Hearts began on the PlayStation 2. Okay?
Yeah.
Sony put a lot of money promoting that fucking game. Okay?
Yeah.
It's Sony's, if Square Enix was a woman, Kingdom Hearts is Sony's bastard outside of marriage. Okay? With Square Enix, okay? All right? So, when people are like, why is it on the Nintendo console? Because it just ain't, okay? It's not, okay? It's not on the system. Move the fuck on, go play something else, okay? There's other games out there to play. Because personally, I don't even think Kingdom Hearts is that good of a game anyway. But if I have to hear them whining about the shit anymore, like, if Nintendo gamers were a person and I could reach through the internet and slap the shit out of them when they say, we want Kingdom Hearts on the Nintendo console, I would do it, because I'm tired of hearing about it. It's like, look, it's not happening. Okay? Why are you whining about something that's not happening? Okay? Like, stop. Stop doing that shit. Okay? And go do something with your life. Okay? Go play the myriad of other games that are so much better than Kingdom Hearts. Okay?
Yeah, I'll say that Kingdom Hearts is highly overrated, and that's from just a story standpoint.
No, gameplay. Kingdom Hearts is a shittier Legend of Zelda. Okay? It is basically...
I said from gameplay alone, from story point alone, it's overrated.
Okay,
gameplay? Oh boy.
Gameplay, it is basically Kingdom Hearts is a... No, go ahead.
I was going to say that, and story-wise, it's overrated already. When it comes to gameplay, it is overrated to another degree.
The story of Kingdom Hearts feels like someone who was a major Disney fan, but also at the same time was also a major Final Fantasy fan, basically fused together. Like, they basically wanted to write their ultimate fanfic, and then they took that fanfic and turned it into Square Enix, and they made a game around it. Because that's all the shit is. It's a fanfic story for Disney and Final Fantasy, and I don't like it. I'm just keeping it real. I don't like it.
I won't blame you on that one.
To be honest with you, I don't like fanfics anyway.
With fanfics, your miles may vary. Oh boy, will it vary.
Yeah, I don't like fanfics just because I don't like... How can I put this nicely? I don't like the concept of people putting their...
Inserting themselves in there?
Yeah, inserting their stupid ass ideas and making it canon. You know? Anyway, uh, yeah. So how do I feel about the Nintendo fans whining about Kingdom Hearts not coming to a Nintendo console? I mean, at this point, I'm not even like okay. If you had caught me 10 years ago during the Wii, I'd say, man, it's a shame that this game isn't on the Nintendo console. Now, I just don't give a shit. I just don't care. I'm angrier more at the Nintendo fans who keep on begging for something that's not going to happen. It's like a dude begging a woman who said, I'm never going to date you. I'm never going to sleep with you. Stop asking. And you still asking her. She said no. Let the shit go and go do something else. Shit. She said,
Yeah, I mean,
if a woman comes up to you and says, if you were the last man on earth, I still wouldn't sleep with you. That is a hint.
That shit's fun.
Okay? That is a hint. Stop. Let it go. Okay? Stop. Because now.
Say, hint? That's a flashing light.
Yeah. So if a dude kept on saying, please, please, you at a certain point you'd be like, you're just a pathetic little bitch. Stop. That's how I feel about Nintendo fans begging for Kingdom Hearts on a Nintendo console. You're a pathetic bitch. Stop whining. Shut the fuck up. It ain't happening. And if it does happen, if I was a Nintendo fan and they did bring it to a Nintendo console, I still wouldn't buy the shit. Because I'd be like, you sat here and teased me for 10, 15, since the PS2. Because there was nothing preventing Kingdom Hearts from being on the GameCube. You fucking teased me for 20 some odd years. And now you're going to be like, yeah, well, you know, we put it on this old ass shit here. Like 20 years after the fact. No. I'd be like, fuck you, bitch.
You're way like.
Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's too goddamn late. Get the fuck out of here. Get away from me. So, you know, these Nintendo fans, I'm not mad at Square Enix. I'm mad at the Nintendo fans still begging because it's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. Okay? It's like seeing a dude get dogged out at his job or dogged out by his girlfriend. And it's like, and he's just sitting there taking it. It's like, man, this is pathetic. I'm losing respect for you as a human being. And that's basically how I feel. I've lost respect for Nintendo fans who keep on begging for Kingdom Hearts to come to Nintendo consoles. Because it's just not happening. Get the fuck over it and go do something else. Go play other shit. There's so many games out there that are much better than Kingdom Hearts. Why are you still begging for this shit?
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'd say that if you even respect yourself as somebody that even plays games from Square Enix, go get something like Octopath Traveler. You'll be better off without. Well,
and I'll be honest with you, Octopath Traveler has its issues. Okay, it does. It does have its issues. The end game just kind of happens. There's no post game. The story, like, you have to dig through a lot of lore in order to get the whole story. But it's head and shoulders better than anything that's come out of the Kingdom Hearts school of thought. Just Kingdom Hearts is shit. Okay, it's been shit. It was shit from its beginning.
Yeah. And this is from somebody that only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
I've played 1 and 2, and I recently played 3, and meh.
I would say that the storyline you're going to need a map to even understand it.
Well, you're going to need the wiki in order to
gameplay
understand it. In any game where you need to fucking read a wiki in order to understand what's going on, I'm kind of like, nah, I'm not feeling it.
The reason why I said you need a map is because you're going to get lost trying to backtrack, trying to figure out where this clue goes, and by that time...
You just stop caring.
Yeah.
Basically. You're like, I don't care anymore. I mean, I didn't care in the beginning, but I really don't care now. But anyway, let's see. We got one more topic left. Let me check real quick. No, we got most of it. So I guess we can do our unpopular opinions and then wrap things up. Who wants to go first?
You boys gonna start things off.
All right. Kadoshi, you want to go first?
I don't have an unpopular opinion
All right.
this week.
Okay, I guess I'll go. My unpopular opinion is this. I have two of them. The first one is I am tired of. I'm tired of. I'm tired of humanity in general, and I've become more misanthropic. So, fuck humanity. That's my unpopular opinion. My second unpopular opinion is about gaming. And it's tangentially related to Kingdom Hearts, but not about Kingdom Hearts. I'm tired of gamers whining about shit not being on their console. We had this last gen with port begging. Man, I'd get that game if it was on my console. Then the game comes to their console and it sells abysmally. Okay? So my point is this. Okay? If people are really fucking invested in a franchise, go buy the shit that the franchise is on. Okay? You don't have to have every console. Okay? You don't. I mean, if you have a decent PC and a Nintendo console, or a decent PC and a PlayStation, you're good. You don't need to have everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you aren't like, because really the only reason you should have a Nintendo console is if you really, really like Nintendo first party and second party exclusives. Okay, that's really the only reason to own a Nintendo console. First, second party, and third party exclusives as well. That's the only reason is the exclusives. Okay, because the multiplats, unless a third party is doing something really cool with a multiplat, you're much better just getting a multiplat or wherever the fuck you want. Okay, so I mean, like, I'm tired of people begging for shit. Look, listen, if you want a game, like if you want to play Halo Infinite, you're either gonna have to have a PC or a Xbox, okay? And no one would think, yeah, well, I want it on the Switch. Shut the fuck up and go buy an Xbox if you want to play that shit, or get it on PC. That's it. That's how I feel. I'm tired of hearing people begging for shit on their console. Yo, cheap ass, if you want to play that game and it's not coming to your console, get the shit on what it's on, okay? Because I'm tired of hearing people begging for shit.
I got an unpopular opinion. That is, I find 2D's animation superior to 3D CGI animation. I was watching Princess Princess Mononoke a few days ago,
And it looks great, doesn't it?
What? Yeah, that movie looks fantastic. And I was
Yeah.
wondering, why did we abandon 2D animation purely to chase CGI?
Because 2D animation is laborious, time consuming, and well, it's mostly just laborious and time consuming. I think there is a happy medium because there are some movies that have 2D as the base, but then they use CG to like pretty it up. I think if you do,
Prince of Egypt is one of those movies that uses CGI for certain aspects of the movie.
yeah,
like
I mean,
in water.
You know, like some of the best films of all time, special effects use CG in order to like gussy up things, but they still hold up because it's built on the frame of something actually being there. Like Jurassic Park, a lot of Jurassic Park was puppetry and animatronics, and the CGI is just there to, you know, enhance the illusion of reality. And that works. But if you're just relying solely on CGI ages like shit. Okay.
I was about to say Uncanny Valley.
No, it just ages really badly. No, because it just ages really poorly. It's like, because shit that was top of the line CGI 20 years ago looks like shit today. Shit that was top of the line CGI from 5 years ago looks like shit today.
Well, one of the reasons, you know, the original Iron Man movie, at least from the mid first decade of 2000. Reason that looked great is because the suit was actually real.
Yeah.
They just used CGI to enhance it. Like they actually built an Iron Man suit, and then you just used CGI to do all the little enhancement stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it did. I mean, it's the reason why, to me, the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, is just kind of shit. Because I remember watching it, and I'm like you could literally see where I mean, there was so much CGI that none of the actors looked like there were any real stakes. Like you could see the stunt people just duck, no look of danger on their face, nothing going on. Just I'm like, damn, this is just ridiculous.
Problem with CGI sometimes, especially with the Transformers movie, is the Transformers almost look, too much detail with the Transformers.
Well, I would say it looks overly animated. Like when
Yeah.
you look at Transformers, and plus, I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Michael Bay can shoot action. You can't tell from watching Transformers movies because that. Look, I, I will say this. I saw all of Michael Bay's Transformer films. The action was shit in all those films. I did not know what the fuck was going on. It was only when they did the Bumblebee movie that I could actually see what was
That you
going on.
got some sense of it.
Because
Dark of the Moon. I saw Dark of the Moon. That was one of the first, and I was just like, I don't get why people like these movies so much. That final action scene, I think it took place in Chicago.
yeah,
It was way too long, way too freaking long.
and you couldn't see what was good. Well, for me, I just like his action scenes. It's like, man, this action scene sounds like there's some cool shit going on. Too bad I can't see any of it. It sounds like there's some awesome shit going on. Personally, I think Michael Bay is overrated. I think Michael Bay is like a lowbrow, but knows he's lowbrow Zack Snyder. Um, Zack Snyder is a highbrow Michael Bay, except he thinks he's highbrow, but none of his shit is actually highbrow. Um, and that's my opinion. I know some people will disagree, but I don't really give a shit because I don't have a dog in the fight. Because until you sat down and watched that 4-hour cut of Justice League, I don't want to hear anyone tell me that Zack Snyder is an artiste, because he ain't.
I was like, when did Princess Mononoke come out? It came out like 1990 something.
I can look it up. Princess Mononoke. Yeah, but that was done with 1997.
1997. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie looked, and that movie still looks like it still looks really good.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking like Hayao Miyazaki. Everything that dude does, he's such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
When someone has that level of perfection in when someone has that level of perfection in their work, yeah, it's going to be good. It's the reason why, even though the Star Wars films, the prequel trilogy, on a technical on the story level, the prequel trilogy sucks, but you can see where George Lucas's perfectionism kind of comes out on those films. It's the reason why you can look at the new trilogy and be like, yeah, this is kind of shit. There's like no redeeming features. There are some redeeming features with the prequel trilogy. There are none on that other shit, which is kind of sad.
On the sequels.
On the sequel trilogy, no, there isn't. Because I mean, like, okay, let me put it this way: the first film had some really, like, the pod race looks really cool. The practical special effects for the shots look really great. The story's kind of shit, but I mean, the Phantom Menace is setting up a lot of shit. Like a lot of shit's getting set up in that one film. Okay? And you really don't know what's going on in that film, right? Like you really don't get what George Lucas is trying to set up until you run into Chancellor Palpatine. Once you run into Chancellor Palpatine, it all starts coming together. Okay? Like, what is this film about? And then you run into Chancellor Palpatine, you're like, oh shit. Okay, I get what this is. I get it. I'm down for the ride. I'm down. I get what George Lucas is going for with this film. Totally on board.
Sometimes it just takes one good hint.
Okay. Okay, let me put it this way. The foundation of the prequel trilogy is solid. The other shit on top of the foundation is fucked up because George Lucas didn't have people there saying, that doesn't make sense. Why don't you do this? Okay? Now, the difference between the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy is that the underlying foundation of the sequel trilogy is trash. The shit they add on top is good, but if the foundation of a building is fucked up, no matter how much other shit you add to the facade to make it look complete, the foundation is fucked up. So everything's gonna fall apart eventually. And sadly, someone had to come in and fix that shit. It's a shame they had to fix it with after the fact, but that's the world we live in. But anyway, I think we've gone on far enough. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up? Oh, no, Jewel, you didn't give your unpopular opinion. Sorry.
And this is probably a weird one. I kind of miss the mascot wars.
I agree. I miss mascot wars as well.
Yeah, it
And
gives
if
the
anybody's
content, gives the content a character.
Yeah. I was gonna say, in case anybody's wondering, the mascot wars is something that happened way back in the NES and SNES era that basically had a special character to try to represent certain things like platforming, fighting games, etc.
Yeah, I kind of miss the age of companies coming out with cool ideas, like using what they had, game wise, in order to fight each other. I think they should bring back. I think that mascots coming back would be great. I think back in the day when you had mascots like Mario versus Sonic, um, even Link versus Tone from Dark Cloud. Like the controversy brought people to the thing because they're like, well, I got to play this game if they say it's going to be the Zelda killer. And then you played it, and it's like, well, actually, this really has nothing to do with Zelda. The only thing that it's in common is that both characters are kind of mute characters who use a sword type weapon and wear, green and brown. That's about it. uh, you know, they play completely differently. So, I think that ultimately what's going to happen is eventually. Like the way things are going, I think you're going to see some older mascots resurrected. I don't think we're going to have like we had back in the day with all the different mascots and shit, just because companies don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to get invested in mascots. Like how Activision backdoored Crash Bandicoot so that they could do toys to life. And I kind of knew it was some bullshit because I was like, how the fuck are you going to have a game that's about Spyro the Dragon, but doesn't star Spyro the Dragon?
Yeah. And their reimagining of Spyro on Crash just looked awful. Like
You know,
their character designs.
I wasn't too unhappy with the 6th gen reimagining of Spyro and Crash. Like
No,
I
I'm
actually
talking about for the Toys to Life.
oh yeah, those were terrible. They clearly did that so that they could make figurines like those characters that were cheap to make. So that's why they did that ugly ass design, because they wanted something that was cheap and easy to make. Like I said, this shit's about money. It's not about friendship or happiness. Um, once people understand these companies are in it to make money, everything becomes more clear.
Yeah.
I thought they at least try to sue the fans with something that's neat, but
So anyway, my personal, I mean, I would love for mascot for the mascot wars to come back. Of course, Nintendo's going to have an unfair advantage because they have so fucking many mascots that it's it's ridiculous. You know, Nintendo built an entire game about mascots beating the shit out of each other. So, um,
yeah, Nintendo already got a head start.
they have an unfair advantage. I think Sega would be second because Sega does have a lot of mascots as well. Most of whom are irrelevant though, which is kind of the flaw with Sega's mascots because they don't really use their mascots very well, right? Like they'll have a
Not
game.
unless you're Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, they'll have a game that'll have some well-known mascots in one game, but then they won't be another. Like you look at Sega All Star Racing, they'll have one game that'll have a full panoply of characters, including some lesser known characters. Then the next game they'll drop those characters, and you'll just have like more mainstream ones. And I'm like, how the fuck do you expect to build up? Like Nintendo did it right, okay? Like you should be emulating them. Smash Brothers started out with the mainline characters with a few extras. Then with Melee, they added a whole bunch of characters. Like that's how you're supposed to build up your mascots, right?
Yeah, at least introduce them a way that everybody could understand them, either by their single game or by a collective.
But anyway, yeah, I agree. I would love to see mascots brought back. I would love to see console wars done right again instead of talking about well, we're good friends and we
Facts.
care. We care.
Well,
No. It's now it's the faux friendship. It's the we really like their games and blah blah. Look, motherfucker, look. This is not about we really like their games, okay? People have so much money for entertainment, okay? If people spend $60, if people only have $80 to spend on a new game, and they have a choice between your $70 game and someone else's $60 game and having $20 to spend on some other shit, they're probably going to choose the $60 game. Okay? This is a competition for money. All right? So, yes, you guys are competing with each other. You can say, oh, we're good friends and we stood on the same. Fuck all that. This shit's about money. Okay? And who's going to get the consumer's entertainment dollars. Okay? And, it would be cool if you guys fought each other by talking about, the cash. Talk about the money. Talk about the games. Our games are better than their games. Even if it's bullshit like, like with the Jaguar, with we've got 64 bits, count the bits, even though it wasn't really 64
oh
bits.
god, that line.
We got more bits than you. Really? Because I've got Star Fox on the SNES, and it looks way better than any of the games you have on your system. And that's a 16-bit system. Well, okay, we're full of shit, all right? We lied. We just said some shit because we wanted to make it sound cool. Okay, that's the truth. We lied. We're just bullshitting you. We're dicks. We're sorry. Anyway, that's my opinion. Okay, so yeah. I guess I'll pimp out the end of the podcast. So I will not be available for Saturdays for the next 2 or 3 weeks because I got to go help my mom because she's having surgery. So, and
But we'll think of something.
yeah. So I will try to think up something in order to have content for you guys for Saturday's cast at 7:30. It probably will not be an hour and a half. I might just do like a pre-recorded thing and put it up, or do questionathons and put that up. There will be content on Saturdays, but it's not going to be the traditional content that we normally do. I might just pre-record something and put it over footage of me playing Octopath Traveler with all my cheats and shit on. But that being said,
We're still on the Wednesday cast?
yeah, we're still having the Wednesday cast. It's just the
Okay.
the Saturday cast. Like I don't know what her
off.
Yeah, I don't know what her like I don't know what her internet's like at her house. Cause Wednesday I'm gonna be here because she has in-help helping her during the week. But Saturday I'm gonna be at her house and I don't know what her internet's like. So, and you know I don't. There's like no place where I can really be alone and do a podcast. So it's just not, you know. It's just not what it should be. So, but that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. So anyway,
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll figure out something. If not, shit happens. Life happens. But that's the end of the podcast. We went a little bit over, but thank you for staying with us. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay happy. You know, social distance. Use your masks. Get your shots if you can. All that type of fun stuff. That's the end of the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and
Hype responsibly.